everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today I am bringing you a mid-year series check-in. So my bed is currently covered in books. I'm also very shiny because it's very hot here in the UK and we're not equipped to deal with the heat, and my fan has turned off, so I'm sweltering. Just a little, but that's fine. We're going to go through this. So yes, I'm here with a mid-year series check-in. This is just a load of books, a load of series that I have started either this year or last year or at some point before. So this does not include any of the books or any of the series that I am fully up to date on. This does not include any series that I've completed, which, spoiler alert, has only been 2 this year. This is just literally all of the books that I've started and I haven't gone back near and I really need to go back to. So all of the first books will be linked in the description below, because I won't be running through every single book because there are quite a few and I will run out of time massively. So let's just get straight into this. There is no rhyme, there is no reason, there is no setup. I'm just going to pick up a book and vaguely tell you something about it. So the first series is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. There are 2 books out of this series currently, so like I said, all of the books on this list will have at least the next book published, and I am not up to the current published book. So this is a key one to start on. I've read the first book, I'm yet to read the second. I'm kind of hoping to read it this month, but my reading has been going so slowly this month, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. So yes, I talk about this book a lot. It is a sci-fi, it is YA. It is the first Brandon Sanderson that I've read so far. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I need to just get on with the next one because the 3rd book comes out in November. I just need to get on with it. The next book is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahoran. The 2nd book, Blood and Honey, is already out. Of Gods and Monsters, or just Gods and Monsters, is out this year. I've only read this book. I need to read the 2nd one. I loved this book. I know this book is a bit of hit or miss, but I loved the first book so much. So I just don't know what's holding me back from continuing on with the series. There's witches, there's witch hunters, there's enemies to lovers in this. All of this stuff I love. I just need to get back on the train and continue this series. I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot this video. I just need to carry on. I love the first book. It is what it is, but we digress. The next one is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've read Caraval and I've read Legendary, which is book 1 and 2. I am yet to read Finale, which is the 3rd book. I really liked the way these books were written. The first one we're following Scarlet, the 2nd one we're following a different character. I don't want to say in case it's a spoiler for how this book kind of turns out, but I love the aspect. I love the magical aspect. I think it's amazing. I love the idea of being whisked away to somewhere that is invite only and you don't know what's real and what's the part of the game. I love that mystery element to it, and I thought it was so good, funnily enough, like every book that will probably be on this list. But I plan to finish this series this year. Whether I do or not is a completely different ball game. I really hope I do. Oh my gosh, I hope I do, because I want to know what the 3rd and final book is about. And Stephanie Garber has a new book coming out in September, Once Upon a Broken Heart, and it's following Jax, who's one of the fates that is within this world. So the next book that she is written is not part of the trilogy, but it's set within the same world. So I just want to be up to date. I know you don't have to have read the Caraval series though to go into that one, but I just really want to get this one done so that I can go into that fresh. The next book is one that I read in March, maybe? No, maybe not, I don't know. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, the first book in the Grishaverse trilogy series thing, I guess. The TV series came out. I read this one because I wanted to I wanted to watch the TV series. I still haven't done that. I still haven't picked up the rest of these books. I don't know why. They're quite easy to read, they're quite short. This one was alright. I think I gave it like 3 stars. Not a lot happened in my opinion. I know that that's a common opinion, that not a lot happens, but that's okay. I don't know. The characters in this series, no, they're not my favourite characters ever. No, they're not my favourite characters that I've ever read from a Leigh Bardugo book, but I still want to know what is going on, why it's happening, all of that fun stuff. So hopefully the second one will be a lot more interesting. I don't know. I can but hope. But yeah, here is another one that I'm yet to finish. I have a lot of trilogies on this list, and another one, I don't actually own the first book, so I'm holding up the second one, and that is the Accursed, Dark and Lonely trilogy. I don't really know what this trilogy is called apart from that. Cursed trilogy? I should know this. I'm part of like the street team for Brigid Kemmerer, but yes, this is the second book. So I've read Accursed, Dark and Lonely. I read it recently. I read it last month, the month before, cannot remember. Time has gone all wibbly wobbly for me, if I'm completely honest. I need to finish the series. I believe I tried to pick this up either at the start of this year or at the end of last year. I can't really remember, but it had been so long since I read the first one. I read the first book like pre-COVID, so that kind of tells you how long ago it was. Back when libraries were open. I mean, I know they're open now, but I've yet to go to the new one that I currently live near, sorry. So yeah, I need to carry on with this series. I loved the first book, 4 stars, loved it, loved the characters. I know we get more perspectives in this one, so I'm really excited to get to know some of the characters in more detail and more depth. So I just need to pull my socks up and get on with that one. This next one is actually a duology, and I now own the second book. I've started it, I haven't finished it, and that is Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy. This is the first one. The second one is Bone Crier's Dawn, and once again, I really enjoyed this book. I liked the writing style. I know some people kind of have issues with it, but I thought it was great. I don't really know. I think it's maybe because I read this one last year when we got it in a book box. I believe this is a Fairy Loot edition, and I have the Fairy Loot sequel as well. I think it's because it's been so long since I read this that trying to get into the sequel just currently isn't it for me. Maybe I need to reread this. Maybe I need to DNF Bone Crier's Dawn and yeah, reread this, start again, start from scratch, but I don't really know. I've just kind of left it for the moment. I'm probably going to do a current books I'm currently reading in 2021 because the list is currently at 21 books, I think, and yeah, that's not okay. But I'm currently reading the sequel to this. I just need to finish it, pick it up again, start again, don't know. I just need to decide. The next series I'm going to talk about is actually a comic book series, and that is Lock and Key by Joe Hill. And this series is hit and miss for me. I believe I'm currently on volume 4, volume 5. I don't know. One of them. Like I said, the series is hit and miss for me. I kind of enjoyed the first one. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was quite impressive, to be fair. I really like the artwork. It's very gruesome, it's very gory. It is a little bit sometimes, but it's a bit of a roller coaster. I can't, was it the second one? I think the second one I gave like a 3 stars because the story was all over the place. The third one got better, and I believe the fourth one, which I think I'm currently on, is the same. It's all over the place. So I'm not really enjoying it as much, but that's okay. I'm hoping to finish it, but I might not, depending on if I can get the final book, because I currently read them on Kindle Unlimited, and if I can't get the final book, I think I might just leave it for a while. We shall see. Another comic book graphic novel series I am reading on Kindle Unlimited is Saga. So I've read Saga Volume 1. I have Saga Volume 2 on my Kindle. The first one missed completely for me. I gave it 3 stars. Good writing, good book, it's alright, but I just don't understand all the hype for it. So maybe if either I read it physically or if I carry on with the series, maybe that will be what turns my head and makes me understand why this is such a amazing, fantastic comic book graphic novel that everyone loves and everyone recommends. I don't know, I'll see. And then another series that I'm currently partway through, I read the first book, or I've listened to the first book because it's an audiobook, is The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was really cool. So the premise with that one is that the first book follows a group of misfit girls. Basically, they all have very interesting fathers. Our main character, her father is Dr. Jekyll, and she finds out she has a sister whose father is Dr. Hyde, and it all comes out and it's fantastic. There's a lot in it. There's a lot of historical bits to it. Sherlock Holmes is part of it, Watson is part of it. I really enjoyed listening to it. I thought it was a really good time. I plan to read the sequel. I believe I've got it on my Audible already, but I just haven't got around to listening to it yet. So maybe this month, maybe another month, I don't know. Hopefully by the end of this year I will finish that series though, so that would be good, because I think that would be a really good one to finish, because I know a couple of people have really enjoyed it and I really enjoyed listening to the first one, so looking forward to that. And the final graphic novel on this list, there are still a load more books, do not worry, is this one, which is the Shades of Magic trilogy. The first one, which is The Steel Prince by V.E. Schwab. This is like a prequel to A Dark Shade of Magic. My friend Kate very kindly gifted this to me a while ago, so thank you very much, Kate. But I got really confused by this. I think the artwork is fantastic, but because I haven't read the series, I think that is where I'm tripping up a little bit, which is completely fine. So what I've decided to do is put this down for now, and I will read all of the A Dark Shade of Magic trilogy as it currently stands, and then I'll go back to this, and hopefully that will mean that I will have more knowledge on the whole world, so these won't be as confusing to me as they currently are. Yet another duology book where I've only read the first one is A Wolf by Ryan Groudon. This is a historical fiction set in a world where what if Hitler actually won World War II, and I thought it was really interesting. I got a bit bored, I think, towards the middle, but then it picked up again towards the end. I'm really interested to see where it goes, how it ends. I love the historical element of this, actually. I think it is really interesting, especially because it's dystopian almost, but dystopian in a way of what would the world look like if this event hadn't actually turned out like this. And I just thought it was really good. So I'm really looking forward to getting the second one. I just need to bite the bullet and read this, I think, because I'm really hoping the sequel lives up to what I've got in my head, but we shall see. That is another phrase that I'm saying continuously in this video, is we shall see, because we will see. I hope, anyways. The next series that I've actually started again, because I've already read it before, is Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. So I've read this whole series in its entirety. I've read this first book about 4 times, because I read it once when I bought it, and then I read it before every book release, because they came out over year increments, as series books usually do. And I love this series. I think it's so good. I love the premise of the 3 sisters and the fact that they're all born with different like abilities, whether that's being a naturalist or a poisoner or an elementalist or war gifted or an oracle. I think it's so good, and the background to this and the history is just awesome, and how it kind of fits into like our normal world, incredible. I actually love it. I recommend this series so much. I feel like this series is really underhyped, which is probably why I'm rereading it, so that I can, as I read every book, hype it up so that more people will read it. I don't know if it actually is an underrated series, but I just haven't heard anyone talk about this. I've seen it on a couple of people's bookshelves, don't get me wrong, like when you see like bookshelf tours and stuff, but I don't really see people talking about it, and I don't know why, because I loved this. That might change now that I'm older. I mean, I read these when I was still in uni, which was years ago. But yeah, I really loved it the first time around. I love reading this when I read it earlier this year. Can't wait to get on with the rest of the series. Again, just get back into a world that I love, meeting characters that I love, being heartbroken. Just can't wait. It's going to be so good. This is a trilogy that I have been trying to read for the past 2 years. So a bit of background about me reading this trilogy. I bought this book many years ago on a last trip to Hawaii a while ago. I also tried to read this book when I was in college. It was too big for me, it was too wordy, it was too intricate, couldn't really appreciate it when I was in college. So when I picked it up last year in a body read, I actually fell in love with the whole series. The issue was that it was a group read for all 3 books. It is a trilogy, and unfortunately by the time we got to the last book, loads of people had lost interest, myself kind of included, if I'm honest, and without that like morale to boost me on, I just didn't get it done. And that is A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I adore the first book and the second book. I am iffy about the relationship between Diana and Matthew. I think parts of it are problematic, but I think a lot of relationships are, especially when they're depicted in books. I'm not a fan of how possessive Matthew is, but at the same time he's a vampire, so maybe that's why it is. Either way, not completely okay with it, but the world this story is written in. I also don't really read books that are based in the UK. The first book is based within the UK, it's based within Oxford, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and I just need to get my motivation back to read the third and final book. A lot has happened, a lot more is to happen. I have not watched the TV series. This has been adapted by Sky. I watched the first episode or so. I then stopped, thankfully, because I hadn't read the book, and I say this all the time, but once I've watched a movie or watched a TV show about a book and then try and read the book, I really struggle to read the book because that picture is in my head forever, and I'd rather make my own, imagine the world as it is described, and then kind of change it with the TV show. Don't know if anyone else is like that, but that is what I am like. So yes, need to get on with this series, need to get on with this book. It's a big book, but I know I can do it. The next series is a beloved and well-known trilogy, and that's Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I want to get these books read by the time Empire of the Vampire comes out. Will that happen? I don't know, but Empire of the Vampire comes out at the start of September, I think, mid-September, so I have 2 months, 2 and a bit months to read the next 2 books. And is it going to happen? I'd like to think so. Do I genuinely believe it's going to happen? I don't think so, but that's fine. I love this book. I really enjoyed it. It was better than I thought it was going to be, which was insane because I'd heard so much about it, and usually when I hear a lot about a series, the hype train just completely poops all over it and I'm not interested and I don't understand what all the hype's about. But no, this one, I get it. I can't wait to sink my teeth back into this world, get back to Mia, see what she's doing, see what havoc she's causing, because I can guarantee it's gonna be a lot. Another cult classic that I am yet to complete, ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I read this book at the beginning of last year, maybe not the beginning, maybe April. I then tried to pick up the second one, ACOMAF. I didn't get very far, I put it down. I've now restarted ACOTAR and haven't picked it up in months. So my goal is to finish this reread and then carry on with the rest of the series. I have A Court of Silver Flames ready to go right there, and I'm just not there yet. So I need to get on with this. This is, like I said, a cult classic. This is a booktube, booktalk, bookstagram classic. Everyone talks about this book, whether it be good things or bad things, but it has got a lot of publicity. I just kind of want to see what all the hype's about. See if it's for me. There we go. Now this next book, I need to rebuy the first book, which I already own, to get all of the covers matching, and that's Renegaze by Marissa Meyer. So this is the first book in this trilogy. They completely changed the covers after I bought this many years ago, which makes me sad because I really love this cover. I think it's so good. I loved the foiling covers that they did for some of the Marissa Meyer books. They did it for this and they did it for Heartless here in the UK. I think that's something. I hate the fact the foiling comes off. I don't know if you can see that on the mask, like it's like little black bits. You might not be able to, but you can definitely see it on like the lightning bolts and stuff. But I still think they're pretty, and I need to carry on with the series. I finally finished this book last year. I was pleasantly alright with this book. I guessed the ending, which lowered its score for me, but there you have it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. It's just how it is. But my plan is to find the trilogy somewhere as a box set so that I can just buy it all. Usually I can find it on somewhere like Books to Door or one of those like discount booksellers and support a little business and that sort of thing. So maybe that'd be good. So I'm going to keep an eye out and possibly do that at some point, because I really want to know why the ending happened and how we got to that ending. Another book that I started last year that cost me a lot of money because it came from America, The Divineness. I have got the first and the second book in this series. They are the American covers, I believe, like the American format, because I think they're a lot different to our standard paperbacks. I don't know if you can see that, like it's a lot taller and stuff. So when my mother eventually goes to the US of A, I might be asking her to keep an eye out for these books to pick them up for me, because I want them all to match. Simple as that. Or if a book box could do a reprint and make them pretty, I'd really appreciate that as well. But this is the first one. I read this last year. I did actually enjoy it. I struggled with it a little bit. There is a lot of all of the dialogue and all of the writing is basically how they would talk in the 1920s, which is really, really good for the atmosphere. But for someone trying to read it, I struggled at points because I would lose my momentum with reading because I was trying to understand what they were saying, because it's just such, it's almost like a different language, I suppose, with it, especially because it's written and not spoken. So maybe if I got the audiobooks, I'd prefer them a lot more. But I still really enjoyed this series. I cannot wait to get through to the next one. I think I might wait now until October. Also, this is like super floppy. I might wait until October to pick up the next one because it's that kind of spooky vibe. But we'll see. We'll see. Once again, we'll see. A series that I'm currently loving is the Truly Devious series. If any of you know, I'm currently reading The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson. It is the 3rd book. I've got the 4th book on standby on my shelf. It arrived the other week. I love this series. This is a YA mystery thriller kind of thing, investigating a past murder, but it's not even just a past murder, it's investigating a cold case. Throughout the whole book there are snippets from the 1930s when the founder was still at this school, and things that have happened continuously, like there's so many flashbacks, so many different people are covered, so many things are like just drip fed to you so it finally makes sense. I love this book. I love this book. I'm loving it, and if you like YA, you like thriller, you like mystery, it's never ending. There's always some sort of mystery going on, so check it out. Carrying on, we have another duology, and that is Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn. So I've read this one. I'm yet to finish the second one. I am partway through it. I did get okayed for an arc of this on NetGalley. I was so excited. Did I finish it on time? No, but still super excited. Really liked this. Again, a historical fiction, but a historical like fantasy fiction kind of thing. Fantasy fiction, I say I don't like it, but bearing in mind there are like a good 3 or 4 series on this list that are historical fiction, makes me rethink that statement a little bit, gotta be honest. But yes, really like this. Really like getting back into the characters, seeing what they're doing with their lives, seeing what's going wrong for them, because let's be real, that's what happens in books, especially YA books. But yes, I love this. Set in France, set in the 1800s, 1840, no, not even that, 1794. Yeah, 1794. But it's fine. Really love this. Recommend it. Nice twist on historical fiction and the French Revolution. Never thought I'd be interested to read about it, but there is always a time that I am wrong, and this was that time. A series that I recently discovered thanks to the broken binding was The Kingdom of Liars by Nick Martell. I read this, found the main character irritating as heck, but actually, thankfully, I think he's meant to be irritating as heck, and I don't really think you're meant to like him until towards the end of the book, which, if that was the plan from the writer, well done, Nick, you did a fantastic job. I did not like our main character Michael at all at the start of this book. One of my vlogs has got a rant about this somewhere. Pretty sure the wrap up for this has got a rant about it somewhere, but I don't know which one it was. So just have a look through my vlogs, I suppose. But no, I enjoyed the premise of this. Once again, it's kind of a historical. However, the magical element within this story is not really fleshed out, in my opinion, at all. Throughout this book, it's almost as if like the first 100 to 200 pages, our main character is obsessed with trying to figure out whether he has got this magical ability that is within this world called fabrication. And then it seems to drop off and we learn no more about the magic system. And that sucks for me because I love magic massively. Didn't know if you noticed. I love a good fantasy. I love a dragon. I love my magic. I love a spaceship. Not all together, but you get my drift. And hopefully the second book will actually bring that out more and we'll learn more about the magic system, because I just want to know. I just want to know. So this series I bought actually last year because I got special editions from Illumicrate, and I've only just recently read the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, and I am now eagerly awaiting the second and third book to be shipped from Illumicrate, as there is a problem with the printing. So we have unfortunately got a long delay, and I'm just so excited to get back into this world. I really enjoyed this. To begin with, the first bit of this book, I didn't understand what all the hype was about at all. It was quite slow for me, but then again, I've noticed that V.E. Schwab writing, for me especially, it is like that. It's a slow build. It doesn't throw you into any action particularly quickly, but there's a reason for that. It's atmospheric. It builds you into this world. You learn who the characters are. You kind of get more of a background about them, and that's a good thing. I love that. I am a big fan of a slow world building process. You get all of the details, all of the juiciness, but I just can't get back into the world now because I don't have the sequels, which is very sad. Hopefully I'll be actually able to finish this trilogy this year. That would be fantastic. I would actually love that. I think these books are so good, and I can actually now that I've read it, understand a lot of the hype. These final two books are special editions because I love a good special shiny book. The first one being The Poppy War, the Illumicrate special edition. I read this book last year. I really enjoyed it. Oh my goodness, is this book hard hitting? Please check trigger warnings before you get into this. But you know what? I love the tacticalness of this. I love discovering, like, following Rin, who is our main character. I love following her through military school. I think that's really interesting, and learning like all these tactics and things that they're taught. I love the world. I felt strongly when bad things happened. Honestly, R.F. Kuang did an amazing job writing this series. Well, book, I haven't read the rest of them, but I plan to, and I'm in half. It's one of those books where I want to get into the sequel, but it's now been a year since I read this one, and I'm thinking, why not just reread this and then try and binge through the whole series. It's almost been a year since the final book's been released. Shame on me, but you know, I just need to finish it. I really want to know what happens. I am ready for some heartbreak. I know it's going to rip my heart out. There are a lot of strong topics in this: war, death, sexual assault, drug abuse, addiction, so much. So yeah, make sure you check trigger warnings before you come into these books, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so good. Doing this video is making me remember how good all of these books are, and making me realise that I struggle with time because I don't have enough time to read all of these books. Oh well. And the final book for books that I'm currently reading is The City of Brass. I'm currently on the third and final book of this series. I am enjoying it, but it is again another political fantasy, and it does take a while for my little old brain to get my head around it, and because I keep taking massive breaks in between reading parts of the third book, it just takes me so much longer to get into it. I just kind of need to sit down and dedicate some time to reading it. I think that would really help, but I just haven't done that yet. But this is so good. This has got everything. This has got enemies to lovers somewhere. This has got enemies to friends, betrayal, magic, a djinn, all sorts. I really recommend this series. There is so much hype around this, and I completely understand it because it is so good. It is a bit of a brain stretcher sometimes. I found it a little bit difficult sometimes to just keep up with who hated who and why and what the politics were, but again, this is a series, this is the kind of thing I love. The whole political thing, the massive world building, all of these in-depth characters, getting inside their heads, multiple POVs throughout all three books. It's fantastic. I love it. So there is my final book. And there you have it. I don't even know how many books that was, but I know this is a long video for me, and all of these books I'm at least the first book in. All of these series have at least one more book already released. Like I said at the start of this video, this does not include any of the series that I've completed this year, which again is only 2, and it does not include any of the series that I'm currently up to date with. I didn't want to do an up-to-date video just yet either. I wanted to do one at the end of the year because I am waiting for quite a few next books to come out. So an example of this is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I am currently all up to date. I've read The Good Girl's Guide to Murder, Good Girl, Bad Blood and Killjoy, which are the 2 main books in the trilogy, and the little World Book Day book. The 3rd book comes out in August, and I plan to finish that series this year. And there are probably other books that I am waiting for sequels to come out for. So I don't know, I think I'll do like a full update towards the end of the year. I'm hoping there will be more than just 2 series that I've finished by the end of the year, but we shall see. And yeah, I better just kind of wrap this up and get right on back to reading and put my fan on because I am so hot. So that is everything for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below a series that you are yet to finish. It doesn't have to be loads. Can just be one. Or if you just want to leave me an emoji, leave me the sunshine emoji because I am sweltering without my fan on. So I need to wrap this up and get my fan back on. If you want to see more of me, probably less warm, consider subscribing down below and ringing that notification bell so you get notified every single time I upload new videos. I currently upload on a Wednesday and on a Sunday, so be sure to stick around for more content from me. But otherwise, that is everything for today's video. I hope you're having an amazing day and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!